Hey everyone, what is going on? So we are going up against a subscriber, so thank you so much for the battles, and he is using Victreebel, Dragonair, Lapras, Drapion, Kingdra, and Charizard, and my team is going to be identical, so we're actually using the same team, and I was trying out Drapion, and I guess he is as well, and yeah, I really liked Drapion. It does get Ice Fang, so it does have a counter to those Dragon type Pokemon, so I do think it's really good. It does charge up relatively fast. I mean, it's not the fastest charging Pokemon in the world, but since it has Aqua Tail, it can get to that fast, and it also has Crunch, so it's actually a really good Pokemon. It also is basically neutral to everything besides, obviously it resists like the grass moves like Razor Leaf, so that's good, and it's going to be super effective against them. But what I'm trying to say is it is not weak to anything but ground. There's really no ground types. I mean, there's Flygon that has ground moves, but I don't think you're going to be seeing a whole lot of Flygon. So there's a lot of interesting Pokemon to use. But yeah, I mean, Drapion is definitely a solid pick, and I actually really liked it. I am going to be using it more to see how much I like it. And but yeah, it was really a solid pick for these battles, and I can't wait to use it again because it's a solid. It's not an ice type, but it's a solid ice user. So right now we're about to finish game one. I do go ahead and go for the Crunch against his Kingdra, and he will go ahead and opt to shield that up. Totally fine. He's going to end up fainting us with his Dragon Breath, but we bring in Dragonair. Obviously, we have to shield this Outrage, but he's ahead in energy, but because we have a return ready to go, we're going to get up in terms of damage, so he's not going to be able to get to another Outrage, so we're just going to be able to finish him off with Dragon Breath. But that was a very close game, but Dragonair was able to pull it off for us, so we do go ahead and win game number one. It's a very good game. It was very funny how we just showed each other our teams and it happened to be the same exact lineup. But for the next one, I lead with Charizard and he leads with Lapras. So Blast Burn does do a lot to a Lapras because Lapras is neutral. But Lapras charges up Surf so fast, it's going to get to a Surf before we get to a Blast Burn. So we do have to shield that. Now, generally speaking, this is a losing matchup, but we're going to have to bait with the Dragon Claw. Now, if he didn't shield that, we would have lost this matchup and probably the game. But since he shielded that, I was able to get to a Blast Burn before he got to another Surf, and we're able to knock the Lapras out. Now, I guess he could have shielded that Blast Burn, but maybe he expected another Dragon Claw. So I'm not saying he was wrong to shield the Dragon Claw. Obviously, he was expecting the Blast Burn, so that wasn't a bad play or anything. I just happened to bait him correctly, and we were able to win that matchup because of that. So he does faint down my Charizard, and we do take his last shield with Dragon Claw though, which is really nice. I bring in my Drapion. I decide to take this return, and look how much Ice Fang is doing. It really is doing a lot. He switches into his own Drapion, and I'm going to fire off an Aqua Tail, which, I mean, chips away at it. Doesn't do a whole lot, but the damage does add up. I actually lag here, so unfortunately, he gets to a charge move before I'm able to do anything. So I decide to let my Drapion go down. Aqua Tail will finish us off. I do bring in Dragonair, and I basically wanted to feint his Drapion. I thought he would get to a last move, another move, but I did have my shield. So my idea was to just feint his Drapion with Dragon Breath, and then we can go for my return, and this should put him in Dragon Breath KO range, and it does. So we're able to feint him despite that lag. So very good game. Very good game. We're going to take that one home with us, that game. So we're going to jump into another one, of course. And I also have to mention, I really do like Charizard for this cup because Charizard charges up Dragon Claw really fast. And I'll probably make my own video talking about Charizard or focusing on it, but it does charge up Dragon Claw really fast, which allows you to get them off against Dragonair or Kingdra or Shelgon, and your opponent's going to know that a Dragon Claw is coming against those. So it's like, do they shield or do they not shield? Totally up to them. But if they don't shield, I mean, that Dragon Claw is going to do a lot of damage, right? So anyway, we bluff him with the Surf, and then I try to get to my Skull Bash, He does get off a Skull Bash of his own, so he raises his defense twice, so that's not good for us. I'm going to go for a Skull Bash now, kind of not expecting the shield, but he does decide to shield, so that's really dangerous for us because his Lapras is just loaded with bulk now, if Lapras wasn't already bulky, right? But we do get off another Skull Bash, and honestly, it really doesn't do that much just because of how bulky his Lapras is. So I do decide to just take this hit. I was expecting Lapras to go down, but I actually survive, although he has 2 Surfs ready to go. So he's going to be able to knock out my Lapras. So a dangerous situation for me. I do bring in my Dragonair because at least we're doing some damage with Dragon Breath, whereas Ice Fang wouldn't be doing anything now to Lapras, right? So I knew this was a Surf coming in, and I do let that go through, and I just decide to charge up energy and knock out his Lapras. He does bring in a Dragonair of his own, and I go for a return, just getting damage off against him, trying to feint him before he can feint me. I do get another Aqua Tail because I wasn't confident that I would knock him out first. It may have been a tie, actually. Actually, no, he would have knocked me out first for sure. And then he brings in his Kingdra. I bring in my Drapion. This is a very, very, very close match. I go for the Crunch. That's going to do a good amount of damage, and I just am hoping to get to one more Crunch. I'm like, I didn't chance it because I didn't think I could get to it. I thought he would knock me out with Dragon Breath. So I go for the Aqua Tail, and I'm trying to feint him, and we feint him with Ice Fang. Now, honestly, I probably could have reached the Crunch. I don't know, guys. I was almost there. I may have been able to reach it, but I didn't want to risk it, so I went, and it ended up working out for me. But for the next game, I was trying to catch his Lapras, and unfortunately I don't, so I switch into my Dragonair. I actually meant to switch into Drapion, but I guess this was an okay switch. I go for the Aqua Tail, hoping to catch a shield, and he does go ahead and opt to shield, so I'll definitely take that. And I do go ahead and shield this one. Now, it looked like I was ahead in terms of health, so I just decided to commit to feinting him down. Plus, I have a really good PvP IV1, as I mentioned before, so usually my Dragonair wins. Not all the time, but so I thought I would win that matchup, so we do. And then he comes in and feints us down with Lapras. I bring in my Victreebel, doing a lot of damage. That Razor Leaf is just chunking away. Switches into his Kingdra. So I will go ahead and go for my Leaf Tornado, and this will lower his attack. So we do catch a shield, so it's pretty good for us. Now I bring in my last Pokemon, going to be that Drapion. Not really good, actually, because he has a Lapras, although his Lapras is kind of low because he stayed in a little bit too long against the Victreebel. And, you know, I do go ahead and go for my Aqua Tail. Just trying to get damage off on him. Actually trying to knock him out. It actually doesn't knock him out. But he brings in his Lapras. And unfortunately, he has energy ready to go. I didn't realize he had energy for a Surf. But he does. Now, I do get to my Aqua Tail. There's no way I could have made it to Crunch that time. So I am going to go ahead and go for that Aqua Tail. And of course, he's going to survive it and knock me out. But that was a very close game. And a very good one at that. So thank you for that game. I really learned a lot. And I really enjoyed it. Thank you for battling as well. I really appreciate it. I love testing out some of these unique Pokemon. Not that Drapion's unique. I mean, Drapion's been good in the past. But with Ice Fang, it's definitely interesting. So he does go ahead and get off his charge move. I figured I would just shield at this point and then feint him down with Dragonair because I knew my Dragonair would feint him down, unless if I lagged, of course, but not the case. And then I immediately click on return because I figured something like Lapras or maybe an opposing dragon would come in. So I do hit him with the return. He will feint me, but at least we get some damage off. I do bring in my Kingdra. Can't really bring in Drapion against the Lapras because Ice Fang is not doing anything. He is going to hit us with a charge move, and I actually am going to commit my second shield. It was a Surf though, so nice bait on his end. I was kind of afraid of that Skull Bash. Anyway, he hits me with what I think is another Surf as it is, so obviously as you can see we could take that. So he's up 2 shields, so really not a good position for me. We're going to take one of those shields right now. So, you know, at least we take a shield. I switch right away into Drapion, but because I don't have any shields, I knew he'd be able to get to an Outrage. I do go for an Aqua Tail trying to bluff the Crunch, and I figured, yeah, a shield would have to come out, but there's no way I'm going to get to a Crunch. You know, if I was able to, we would have won, but there's no way. He knocks me out, and then I bring in my Kingdra, and he knocks me out. So, very good game. Very good game. Lapras, probably still the dominant Ice user in the format, but I am enjoying Drapion. But for the next game, I lead with my Kingdra. He leads with his Lapras, so I'll definitely take this. I mean, we're taking neutral damage. We are squishy, so we're still taking quite a bit of damage, but we're also dealing out quite a bit of damage. I do go for the Outrage, just to get as much damage as possible, and well, actually to catch the shield, because I kind of expected the shield. I am going to go ahead and follow suit with a shield of my own. It is Skull Bash, so we did call that correctly. And but unfortunately, now that his defense is increased, we're going to be doing less damage. So not really good for us, although we'll be able to take that Surf and not get to another Outrage. If I did shield, I would have gotten to another Outrage, but that's okay. So he does get off a charge move against me. I know it's going to be Surf, so I let it go through. And we're going to knock out this Lapras eventually, but he does do a lot of damage to us. So Dragon type still dominating this format, but of course they have a little bit of trouble depending on the situation against the ice Pokemon. Anyway, he knocks out my Dragonair, so I bring in my Drapion, ready to farm him down. I believe I shield. Yeah, I do decide to shield this because I didn't want him to farm me down with his last Pokemon, which is going to be that Victreebel. Now, obviously, I realized it would be difficult for him to farm me down, but you never know. Anyway, he hits us with a charge move, and it is going to be Leaf Blade. We actually take that though, and we go for the Aqua Tail. Now, I figured he would be able to knock me out before I knocked him out, so I needed to go for back-to-back Aqua Tails, and I thought I was confident enough that I had back-to-back Aqua Tails, and we do, so actually able to knock him out, because one more Razor Leaf would have knocked me out, and one more Ice Fang wouldn't have knocked him out. I probably need like 2 or 3. I'm not really sure, but that's why I decided to do. So for the last match, this match actually ends up, we end up freezing, but I wanted to show it to you anyway, because I lead with a Dragonair and he leads with a Lapras, and you could still see the amount of damage we're doing. Now, I know this is a Surf coming in right now, so I decided to take it. But you could see the damage that Dragonair is putting off, right? I mean, the Dragon Breath is just going to town against it. We do get to return really fast, and we're just doing a lot. We actually go for the Aqua Tail trying to catch a shield, and he does go ahead and decide to shield this, probably expecting a return, wanting to win the lead, so or win the switch advantage. So as you can see, if he didn't shield that, and we went for the return, we actually would have won. You know, we would have knocked out Lapras. So you might actually want to consider an Ice Beam Lapras over Skull Bash. Skull Bash is better for the mirror match, but Ice Beam is really good because it hits those Dragon types, and, you know, it gets to them relatively fast. So it's like, do you want to shield it thinking it's an Ice Beam, or maybe they'll catch you with the bait and the Surf? I don't know. So anyway, that will be it for this video, guys. I will see you in the next one. Have a good day. Bye.